like this. I have a different assortment of these because I was doing so many, like a trial and error. You will also need a 9-volt battery connector. So these 2 wires, right? And then we have like these 2 buttons here at the top, and they will snap on to my 9-volt, just like that. You will need a buzzer, a switch. If we have time, we can add this at the end. Some LED strips. This is pretty much just going a little bit over what was required, but you know, adding some LEDs is not a bad idea. Some wire. I have this type of wire here. I have red and black just to differentiate the different colors. I have more copper wire, and I think that is everything. Oh, a hot glue gun as well. And a soldering iron to make solid connections, just like last week's, right? So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna grab my copper, my aluminum foil, and on the back, because this is my front, and on the back of this, we're gonna add aluminum foil all around here. So these shapes here. So that way, when we have our tweezers, we have our aluminum foil on the back, and this way, you know, it makes contact with the back side of the aluminum foil, you know, just in case. So what I'm doing here, I'm gonna use this box again because it is very handy just to make clean cuts. And so what I'm gonna do here is just grab this like small piece of foil and just cut it out like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just small green foil. I cannot hear you, Evelyn. Oh, she's been talking. Oh, she's been silent for a moment. Good morning. So should I recap what I mentioned today? Yeah, okay, so we were having a couple of audio problems. You weren't able to hear me, but I'm just going to quickly just recap what I mentioned. So today's project is we're going to create your own DIY operation table person. So what I did here is we remixed it. Instead of doing like the operation guide, you know, with the whole like components that it has all over its body, I just took a different direction and printed out a robot. And then this robot inside, you can see we have different electrical components like a resistor here, an LED, a nail capacitor, and a gear, and just something fun to add, just like a wishbone. And this was all done through laser printing, using our Glowforge that we have here at the warehouse. And so basically just what I did was I grabbed an image, copied and pasted that onto Illustrator, exported that as an SVG file so the Glowforge would read it, because, you know, certain softwares require certain file formats, and SVG is one of the files that Glowforge accepts and reads on their software. So that's what I did. And if I can show you up close how like very precise these cuts are and how amazing it is to use a laser printer, laser cutter, but yeah, and it's very precise. And then all I did there was print out, and then I have these scraps here that I will be using to just kind of like, if I had my tweezers and it was connected to power, I would have to precisely just place it there. And if I can just quickly go over the materials again, you will need a tweezer, you will need a box cutter just in case, some wire strippers because we will be handling wires. You will need a buzzer here, some type of switch. I have this one. 9 battery connector like this. This has these 2 little buttons here, and my wires. You will need a 9-volt battery, electrical tape and copper tape, and some LED strips. This is just really just for design and decoration, just to put all around there. Some aluminum foil like I have here, and some wires. So we're just gonna go ahead right now and start with the first step, which is I have my front here, which is, you know, don't want to touch this quite yet, but I'm going to use the back here and cover this up with foil. So let's just see how that goes. I'm just going to cut tiny pieces of foil here. Thank you for your patience. So we are having some technical difficulties again with the sound, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna fix that as soon as possible. But just, you know, be patient with us. Oh really? To recap. Okay, sound fix. Let's start over. Awesome, so our sound is working, seems to work now. So I'm just going to start over from the intro, just no biggie. I can easily just recap everything that I mentioned here. So good morning once again. My name is Evelyn, and this is our Playful Learning Hour from 10 to 11. You will be joining me on a very exciting project, and the project that I have in store for you guys today is how to make your own like classic game operation table game. In this version, I took it a different direction. I actually just printed out a robot and added a few like electrical components inside the robot. So you can tell I have a resistor here on the side. Let me just zoom that up. A resistor here, my LED light, some nails, a gear here. This is supposed to be a gear. I have a capacitor here, and it just randomly I added a wishbone to this one. And this was all done through the help of our Glowforge that we have here at the warehouse. A Glowforge is basically like a laser cutter, which makes it very precise and very easy to cut out projects like these. Of course, you can honestly create whatever you would like on the Glowforge, but this is just one of the examples of how we used it to make our projects here for like creative play and our playful learning projects. And so the materials that you will be using today here are the box cutter. You will be using tweezers. You will be using wire strippers, a couple of 9-volt batteries. I have 2 just in case one of them doesn't have much power. We have copper tape and electrical tape. We have this battery connector that has 2 buttons here that connects to the battery like that. And then we have here 2 wires. We have a switch here. This is from the side, and it just has like a 0 and a 1. And then we have our buzzer. We have our foil, aluminum foil, and then we have more wires. And also, I forgot to mention, you need your cutouts that you printed out or that you cut from using the laser cutter. And alternatively, you can use an X-Acto knife or a box cutter to cut out design yourself. Of course, you can always take that route. Maybe not using wood, maybe using more flexible sheets of paper. Cardboard is another good alternative, because who doesn't really have cardboard around home. You can also use like those cereal boxes, give them a purpose, you know, create a game too as well. And yeah, I'm gonna just get started. We have a question here. How long did it take to laser cut. It took me about, honestly, using the laser cutter really fast. I think in total it took me like 5 minutes or so, about 5 minutes. Yeah, the shapes itself took me like a minute, but to like kind of score the robot, it took longer because it is a big image, and it also has like a lot of details in it. But yeah, it is very precise and came out very, very, very clean. Yeah, it really is fast. But I'm gonna go ahead and begin using the back part of this. So I'm going to just take some aluminum foil and kind of wrap it around the shapes that I cut out here. Except I will be doing that from the back part of it. So if I just start from here, and moreover, you can use some hot glue to secure the connections down as well. So this is a little too long, so I'm gonna just cut it there, cut it like here. And there we go. You don't want to use too much aluminum foil because it will take up too much space. But yeah, I think this should be enough. Let me just make a very clean cut here. But yeah. And so if you guys remember from last week, we created the project from last week was on Wednesday. What did we do? We did a buzzwire game. A buzzwire game, which was really fun to make, honestly. And I know I woke up some people by using the buzzer. And don't worry, I got you guys. If you guys are half asleep this morning, be on the lookout for the buzzer today too. So now that I have this here, and I kind of want to like mold it into the shape that I have on the other side, just very gently, because you are using foil and it tends to rip if you like aggravate it and go over it once or twice. I'm just gonna apply like a dot of glue here. And again, be careful because you are using glue and you are using aluminum foil. It tends to be very hot. So just dabbing small pieces of glue to kind of secure it down. So now that we have that one done, we can move on to the next one. And I'm going to go up here to my wishbone. Do you guys remember this classic game that you guys? I'm wondering if any of you guys have played this game, like in elementary school or something, or if you've seen like a very like life-sized version of this somewhere, like a carnival or somewhere. I think we had one actually. Yeah. So here I'm doing my wishbone, and like what I'm doing here is grabbing using the foil to just kind of mold it around. And so what I'm gonna do here, is there a ruler around here? No, that's fine. I was gonna use a ruler to just cut it here very precisely, but there's no reason to that. You can easily just rip it here. Let me see. Just gonna cut that out. Okay, there we go. And just apply a little bit of that hot glue all around here. Just a very thin layer is fine. And then we're gonna go ahead and just sit it down here. I think the foundation made a life-size operation kit. Yeah, actually I remember we made one a while ago. I think we had it for like a few events here and there. And we just cut this part. And again, this doesn't have to be neat as possible. It's just, I don't know. Okay, and then we just reapply a little bit of glue on this side because it seems not to be very secure. But I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of glue, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. There. Okay, fold it down, and then I'm going to move on next to my LED. Just take a small piece of foil, rip it in half, and let's do the same thing. So I'm gonna do this instead. Add glue around it. And there we go. Gently place it there. And mold it into the shape that it then formed. Alright. I can use this box probably just to cut it out. There we go. That's about right. Now I can use this other piece again. Just add a tiny amount of glue. Place it on here. And just gently dab it around. Okay, this one ripped. I went a little too harsh on rubbing. Rubbed a little too hard and it poked a hole through it. So now what I'm gonna do is just take this off and just reapply it one more time. So let me see if I can take this off. Gonzalo, why are you using aluminum? Alternatively, you can also use copper tape, but using aluminum, since it's conductive, it will create a contact point with my tweezer because it's also from not aluminum, but it's a metal. But yeah, anything conductive honestly will create. I think it's wait, what? I saw it at the Scene Carnival. I think that this is where I remember it from. The Scene Carnival. I remember it. Was it at the Scene Carnival? Yeah, Scene Carnival. Scene Carnival. I knew it. It's just been a long time, you know? You do so many things. Okay, again, once again, I'm just gonna reapply my glue here. And create, there we go. I'm just being careful this time not to puncture a hole through it. I think this is where I remember it from. Yeah, I saw it at the Scene Carnival. You guys are right. So now I'm gonna use my this box here just to create kind of like concise cuts here and here. Gonna cut through that. So I'm gonna use this and cut it one more time. There we go. Alright, now I have two left, which is my gear here on this side and my capacitor. What I'm going to do here is cut this a little bit more like that. Right. Now I'm going to cover up my capacitor. Honestly, since I have these two very thin lines, I won't really focus on putting aluminum foil here because they're very, very thin, and what I really want is just to make contact. So I need to have like a good opening, a good sized opening. So I'm gonna just simply cover the circle here, and that's pretty much it. Since the lines are very thin, it won't necessarily touch that. So I'm adding glue here, just around that, and then gently just dabbing it here. Okay, and after it dries, I will. What is the Scene Carnival? You guys are very asking good questions this morning. The Scene Carnival is one of the many projects that we throw each year. So this is basically where we have a bunch of science projects and different types of games that we've developed. But most importantly, it's for kids to discover the different, not discover, but to showcase their science projects. And I think it's a very cool and a very like interactive way, because this way we basically add like a STEAM twist to it, which is what we're all about, right? And so what we do is we have circus acts of music, really fun projects. Like for example, we have this life-size, like you will see the life-size operation table that we have. We also have like a wacky wire. Yeah, we showcase a bunch of different stuff, and it's really cool. Very friendly to everybody, family, kids, and yeah. We're throwing one. Actually, yes, thank you for that. A reminder is we are throwing our virtual Scene Carnival next week on Tuesday, starting from, I believe, 10 a.m. to 12. So it's just a 2-hour thing, and I would encourage you guys, if you guys, have time, definitely tune into that, because it will be a very, very interesting and fun, event for all of us, I'm pretty sure. And this is our virtual Scene Carnival. What I'm doing now? Oh, okay. So now the last one would be is just my gear. So just like that. Put this here. You should. Is there a link? There is a link, and hopefully we can post it up on the comments section. Maybe have it pinned there too, so you can RSVP there too as well. But yeah, we can share that link with you guys. You can also check out our visit our page, our website. It's tubitcircus.org. And now this is my last one. I will be adding foil here. Whoops. There we go. Nice. Okay, what's the time? Alright, so now that I have that done, we're gonna move on to our connection. So this can go here. My aluminum foils, my scraps of aluminum foil can just, let me get this out the way. There we go. Okay, so that's out the way. Now we have this, and now you can see it on the front here how I have my objects covered with the aluminum foil. So next thing I'm going to do is here, I'm going to grab my 9-volt battery and my 9-volt battery connector and just snap them together. And here's where the fun part comes. We're going to solder our buzzer, but just make sure our buzzer is working. We're going to use this 9-volt battery. Again, be cautious of the sound. If you guys have it all the way down, I will give you 3 seconds to turn it down a little bit because it might get pretty loud. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to try out if the buzzer is working. And it is working. So show you one more time. Okay, that's very loud. Sorry. But we're gonna now solder our ground from both devices together. So here I'm going to make some space, solder that there, and I'm going to bring over my soldering. Alright, and I will grab the helping hand. 1 second. Thank you. So this helping hand makes it way easier to solder, because in this way it seems like I have like 6 pairs of hands, because I have 2, 4, and 6. So here I'm just going to attach, hopefully you guys can see that. Let me see. Attach one end of my wire here, my ground. Let me just, using my wire strippers, I'm going to just strip it a little bit more. Just like that. Just like that. And then again, we're just gonna twist these here. And I'm just gonna strip a little bit more on this side too. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna pull that out. Let me see, maybe this is not gonna work. Nice, there we go. Now we have a good length here. Is there a link? And I'm going to do the same thing to my other 2 wires. I don't want to expose the wire too much, but there we go. Just gonna pull that. Okay, there. And then the other one. Oh my god, it's really hot. And let's just snap this. Wait, oh no, it snapped itself. That's fine. We're just gonna cut all the way to the end. And snap here. Okay, and like I said from the previous lesson as well, if you can tell, the wire has many other wires also embedded into this wire, and just to make it into one, I'm just going to just twist it like that, so that way it makes it easier to connect both. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Hi, oh hi. And thank you guys for joining in today. And today's project is like doing your own DIY operation table, except the version that I was inspired to do was to create a robot with electrical components inside. Okay, so now this would go here. Let me face it that way. And then I'm going to take my battery one, twist it again. Don't remember if I twisted this. And then place it on this side here. And I'm going to put them together like this and twist like that. Just like that. Can you guys see? I hope you guys can see. Like that. Okay, nice. So now that I have my 2 wires connected, it's time for soldering. So the way here that this works is I'm using my solder to just gently dab on some more to make solid connections. And I just want to clean the tip here let it there. You want to make sure you have a well ventilated area for this project as well, because you don't want to breathe in the fumes. And of course not have any tangled wires while you're doing this as well. Right. So here I'm going to just prep it, push it away from me a little bit. Do this. Alright, now that I have a nice bubble, I'm just going to add it to this and coat it. There we go. Okay, I think that's a very nice connection there. Cool. Alright, that's done. Very easy. Let me just make sure my buzzer seems to work. Alright, nice. So now I will clamp that, put this to the side. Also, what I want to do now is add a switch and my LEDs. But before that, I also want to add some wire around my tweezers, so in that way it makes a contact point with my figures here. I'm so liking that right now. I need my wire. I need my wires here. Thank you for posting the link here, Dr. Leah Haynes, for the Scene Carnival. And again, I just want to grab some wire here and wrap it around my tweezers. Maybe using a longer wire would work. I also have that wire. Let me try it with this. So here, my wire, my red wire, again, I want to connect it to this one. In this case, I will use a longer wire, like this. Let's see if I can find a red one. Like this one. And just simply connect it to my buzzer here. Post it like that. And I'm going to use so that means my buzzer is working, but I don't want to have my buzzer on right now. So what I'm going to do here is just wrap it around here. Wrap it around a few times. Like that. So that way if we have my buzzer, now it's connected to that. So it's all basically simple circuits in this project. Nothing too complicated. We'll run into some troubleshooting. I hope we don't, but we will. And then now that I have that, I will add another sheet of foil around here just to cover this entire base, and I will add another connection so that all my another wire, sorry, to my aluminum foil that I will lay out here, so that way, you know, it creates one giant circuit. So again, I'm going to use my aluminum foil, cut it a good amount. I say this is fine, so I want to cover this part of it. And what I'm going to do here is I will again use my hot glue gun just to paste glue it down. Where is my box cutter? My box cutter is here. So now I just kind of want to measure until where I want to cut and where all my things are. Alternatively, you can also use alligator clips, which I have somewhere around here, just so we can test out if our connectors are working. So I will just take out one black alligator clip, so that way it doesn't confuse me or mess up with my diagram that I'm currently going based off of. And if some things are unclear while I'm explaining it, please let me know and I can reiterate or re-explain it a different way as well. So I just want to make sure I am not touching any of my other ones. I think cutting it to here is fine. Not the best one, but I also have some scissors to clean it up a little bit. Just gently clean it up like this. Alright, that's a more clean cut. So now my shrubs here. And before I move on, I want to clean up my space just a bit more. I'm going to just move this to the side, because we don't want any accidents to happen. So that's out my way. This I can just place behind me. There. You know, it's always nice to just have a clean working space where you have, you know, control of your environment. So now here, I have that. So what I want to do here is now glue my sides here. So I'm just going to add some hot glue here and just glue my sides. Very gently. Just making a giant box of glue. So there we have it. And we are going to just glue it down. Aluminum foil, the kitchen scaffold for conductivity. Yes. And if you can tell, I've been using a lot of aluminum foil because it's also a very, you know, cheap alternative as well for this project. And most of these projects that we're doing are using materials that you can easily find at home. Yeah. So now that I have this here, I'm going to use my alligator clip just to connect. Let's see if I can connect with you here. Nope, it's too short. Let me see if I can just connect it to this side. There. Actually, I will be using red to here, and I'm going to use this one here. So now we're gonna see if it works out. Maybe my connection here. It's not the strongest connection. So I have that connected to there. My buzzer connected to this. I twisted that. Let me try without using the wire here. And of course, you're always going to run into these kind of troubleshooting problems. You see? Is it my battery? Is it my connection? Let me see. Maybe I need to just tug it a little bit more right here. Let me see. and that's fine. Let me just try one thing. If I have my alligator touching here and my other wire touching here, is it gonna make a connection? No, it's not. Okay, let me see. Oh wow, it unwrapped itself. Let me try using this wire. We're gonna wrap this all around. Wow, that troubleshooting moves. Alright, now we have that. We have this here. And then we have that touching that. So if you can tell, I do have solid connections. It's just my wire wasn't on right. So what I can do later on today is just solder this connection here, or simply just add some electrical tape that I have as well. And it seems to work. And then now I want to add some LED lights around here, just for decoration simply. You can also use your LED lights to light up, be in sync with the buzzer as well. That would take me a little bit longer to that, and I see we only have about a few minutes left. I find it useful when I can see the troubleshooting process. It's not a good one to watch wearing headphones. No, I'm so sorry. I should have given you guys a heads up with that. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is add my LED strip here on the side, like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm trying to align it as straight as possible. So I'm gonna leave this little gap here because I will be soldering that. And moreover, you can add a switch, but that would be towards the end when I have all of my components working. And again, I'm going to grab some wire, and using this, I will add a 9-volt to both LED strips on the side. I just need a battery connector, which I have here. So here we have our battery connector, and I just want to make sure this battery is working. So if I look closely here on one side, I will find a small negative and a small positive sign. And so what I want to do is connect my negative and my positive to make sure the lights work. So I'm going to do that. And they seem to work fine. So here I will solder my red wire, and then on the other one I will solder my ground wire. So again, I will bring this back here. Bring this back using my soldering, and my solder is right here. Let me just take a seat and use this here. I'm going to solder. I have a nice here, and my positive is right here. Alright, so I want to add some solder to here first. So that way you want to prep your wire so that it's faster and makes it easier to solder them together. So here, let's see, okay, maybe I need a little bit more solder on this. Gently just add some solder to here. And there we go. This is kind of tricky doing it with one hand. And I think I got a lot of this solder here. Okay. Let me see. 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. Okay, I can do this in 10 minutes. There we have our solder. Alright, I think I have my positive solder here. I think it's stuck. Okay, as you can tell, soldering tends to be kind of difficult, but that's okay because we can also use glue on this. But since we only have 10 minutes, we're just gonna go ahead and finish this off the side. What else? I can also add my switch to this whole diagram of mine. So here I have first on the back would be my ground wire here. Let's see. Here, they also, that hose wire is where you are soldering. They are my best friend. Do they? They also have these alligator stands that hold wires while you are soldering. They are my best friends. Yeah, soldering is really not that hard, and I know it can take a lot of practice to master. But yeah, I will practice on my soldering skills for sure. And then I have this here. Oh, and I need my tweezers right here. So I want to add another wire here. And then just twist both like this. Is there a accessible from this people? Okay. And then now, since this is not that, since my wire is not exposed, I can't easily wrap it around my wire. I will just strip it here a little bit. Just like that. Ooh, that came out so easily. Now what I want to do is just twist. If there's some way to do that, I will twist it to my tweezer here. Twist. Recap. Okay, so since we are almost closing down this live stream, just want to simply recap what we did here for today. As you can tell by the title, we are doing our own like DIY operation table. However, we're just mixing it up with a different image that is not the human body. We are doing it with a robot, and inside the robot, if you can tell, we have these different like for example, this is a resistor here. I can easily show you how these would work here. So my resistor, I also have my LED light somewhere around here. I have my wishbone that would go there. I have, what else? My capacitor here, and my gear here. And let me just switch that. And is there such thing as a conductive glue? And then my LED would go here, and my nail would go here, right there. Awesome. So now, yeah, basically what we're doing here is you're creating your own DIY operation table. I took it a different spin. I did a robot, and we laser cut this actually here at the warehouse using the Glowforge, our laser cutter that we have here. And what I simply did was, you know, grabbed an image. I added these components inside. I could have added these anywhere. Like for example, have the LED like here to make it seem like it has a heart, and I could have added an LED here. I could have added the resistor down here on the side. It doesn't really matter where you position it as long as you have, you know, something to work with, and different components as well. So that was done with the laser cutter. And then here the materials we were using is, I have my LED strip here that I will connect later on. And then in the back is what I did was, if you can see here in the front, let me show you here in the front first, is I covered up each shape using aluminum foil, and then I added a little bit, tiny bit of hot glue to secure it down and have it stay in place. Again, you don't want to forcefully push down through the foil because it can puncture a hole since it's very thin film. And alternatively, you can use cardboard with this. Like I mentioned previously, you can use those cereal boxes that we usually throw away and give them a purpose, reuse them to make projects easy like this. And yeah, and then you can just cut out any shapes, any character that you would like to explain certain topics, or simply in this case to explain parallel circuits or simple circuits in general. And that's what we did here. Is there, okay, conductive. But yeah, so you can easily find these materials. I have a 9-volt battery as my source. I use wire, and like I've mentioned before, you don't have to have these exact same materials. Feel free to go out of your zone and, you know, out of your creativity and just experiment with stuff like paper clips, something that would be metal metal hangers as well from the dry cleaners. I also have my buzzer here that you can easily disassemble from, I would say you can find them from toys, of course, toys that you don't want or don't use anymore. And then I have a switch. And the switch can easily just be taking out my 9-volt battery as well. If I don't want to use it anymore, if I don't want my buzzer to accidentally go off. But yeah. And moreover, you can use copper tape as well. Like I had copper tape here. I just didn't use it, and using something like a precise device to cut out. Of course, you can always have scissors, but in this case, it was easier for me to use with a box cutter. Aluminum foil is the key source in this project here. That would make it easier to make contact points, right? And so yeah, now, since the project conducted, yeah, hopefully you guys can tune in into our scene carnival next week on Tuesday as well. You should look forward to that and mark that on your calendars. It's going to be a fun activity. So now what I'm going to do here is, alright, so now I want to take this one out, but it's kind of hard, and I took it out. So pretty much the goal of this is to grab as many objects as you can without making any contact points, like that. And then also I have my resistor here. Okay, this requires a steady hand. Seems like I don't have one. I can easily grab my wishbone here, place it down, okay, down there, and then position it here. And then grab my resistor, my LED light. Okay. There we go. And then adding, ooh, that's gonna be a really hard one to get out. I got my LED out, and now I just need my nail. This one seems to be a little tricky one. That's cool. I'm going to make my own. Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, this is our project. If you guys found this interesting, tune in to tomorrow's project. It will be a very exciting one as well too. And we have come down to our final minute, and thank you again one more time for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this project and, you know, found something productive or interesting to do during this morning. But yeah, and thank you, and we will see you guys next week for another session of live streams. And thank you.